Chapter 6. The Night Before the Duel. You want me to take responsibility? Ekishito sat at the office desk in the manager's room and put away the documents. The successor to the crown and Jitsuki's brothers came to intimidate him. He sat on the furniture in a rather rude fashion while some of them leaned back against the wall near the entrance of the door and sent a grinning glance to Ekishito. Well, they're more like debt-collecting thugs than a royal family. Ekishito didn't change his expression, but inwardly he smiled wryly at their juvenile act. We ordered that the sinners were to be handed over, didn't we? Sinners? Which one are you referring to? Don't act so naive. Kuriko and her accomplices. They are villains who violated our territory and damaged our armored cavalry. In Recepshi, no matter what sin you commit, you're all important customers unless you break the rules here. So, in any case, we won't be responding to requests for extradition. However, with regard to this time, Kuriko-sama wanted to work with Renza, so I felt that it was necessary to talk with everyone. So, I prepared a place for them to talk. However, even with this, it was a gray zone that was quite close to black, and customers in various fields have already scolded me. You said that you made the concessions there. Do you really think we will accept such justification? And what if, for example, I handed you over to the people you call pirates in your area? What are you talking about? The next in line for the crown suddenly changed his expression. To the pirate side, you're an enemy, a criminal. If I was told to deliver you to them, how would you feel about me complying with their request? You. Oh! I'm going to do this, if only for the sake of doing it to you. Don't misunderstand us just because we're a planet for pleasures and entertainment. There's a reason Renza Federation, Galactic Federation, and pirates let us sail freely in their airspace. Maybe you would like to sit and think a bit more about why they do that. Why they let you float here and there. In this shitty little ship, ferrying unscrupulous people is beyond me. Of course, we turn a blind eye to our customers' business. I won't deny that. But this is a clearly independent nation, and it's free sailing because we have that level of power and it's acknowledged by the various nations. And this facility is the center of this nation's government, even if it's a bit cramped. What? In other words, Ekishito's headquarters were the headquarters of the state, and the next of crown had just illegally invaded into its center. The next of crown was also a prince, but Ekishito was more than that, which was also a problem. He didn't realize it, but it was an act that could develop into an international problem. Well, regarding this time, we feel that the Godly Knight versus Godly Knight event has plenty more to it that remains undigested in various ways, so think of this as fasting. I gave Kuriko a little guidance to make sure you don't misunderstand. Depending on how you see the discussion, you have already achieved the results you want. Kuriko's side was ready to be handed over as criminals. So, if their side could successfully win their negotiated terms, there was a possibility that they'd get everything they wanted. You have no spine. I can't help but be brave, but I'd like you to be a little more serious. You son of a bitch. It isn't an ideal situation, but as a result, I'm grateful for the fact you've helped arranged for such a wonderful new event. So, Ekishito turned on a monitor where Kuriko and the others stood in front of their new cavalry. It wasn't a secret feed, rather it was from some kind of interview. Isn't this your purpose for coming here? Oh! Being deceived by Ekishito was secondary. Trying to find out about Kuriko's new armored cavalry was their first priority. Hey, Miki-san. What's the meaning of this? In front of Kuriko and the others was Miki, standing with a little wry smile on, accompanied by a woman. The container sent by Washu was supposed to be opened only by the 4 girls because they didn't know what kind of confidential technology was inside of it. It was enclosed in a special foam container. Although it was a commonly used thing, it was actually developed by Washu in the first place, so they were probably overthinking things when they assumed it was confidential. But they were also surprised that Miki was there because it wasn't supposed to be possible for her to intrude into that area. Oh no. Don't get angry at Miki, I asked her to bring me here. Kuriko and Miki's conversation was interrupted by a woman who brought in multiple camera probes, like a female field reporter. Oh, sorry for the delayed introduction, I am Maimu Recepshi. So does that mean you're one of Miki's dance princesses? Haha, no, I can't dance to save my life, Her attitude was very different from Mikihi's, but it was clear from her appearance that she was related. You know I'm going to have to decline an interview. Didn't Miki tell you that? Well, that's true I did, but... My sincerest apologies, but I am desperate for the scoop. Look, if a large adult drops to the floor in tears in front of you and begs you. I thought that was the case, but no, there's no way I'm letting you broadcast this. Kariko also noticed that Maimu's eyes were a little red, her makeup was messed up, and her nose was still a bit runny. But still she managed to convince Miki. Miki was a pretty solid person. She had to deal with her father's selfish schemes since she was young. And she was similar in temper to Tsukiko, so it was quite a feat to get past her. This battle is the second act of the battle between the two godly knight. It's an historic duel. And you're about to roll out the first armored cavalry in history made by the Galactic Federation. And it's entirely original, unlike the excavated godly knight ZINV. Interest in the scoop is booming around the universe. It's essential someone cover it the night before the battle. I understand your reasons, but why is Mikihi-sama's daughter doing this? Actually, I suck as a dancer, but I love to watch dancers themselves. I want to do a job related to recording them. So, you became a journalist? Yes, but it's just me and I've had trouble getting officially hired. Even when I offer to work for free. But this time I managed to get a special sponsor to let me cover the big event and the mysterious armored cavalry unveiling. So, this is my last chance. I see why Miki caved, Ryoko said. Isn't that so? Why don't we show her the GP container? Well, okay, but watch out for danger. You do this at your own risk. You have to promise not to complain no matter what. We'll let you stay until the container is open. But in the future, please consult with us beforehand. Oh, thank you very much. Maimu started correcting her makeup with a quickness that made it feel like she was used to this. Her image suddenly changed. Good evening. I'm assistant reporter Maimu Reisepshi, and today I'm coming live from the secret dock that contains the hot topic on the mind of everyone not only in Reisepshi, but Renza and the Galactic Federation. The unveiling of the Federation's first ever armored cavalry. We've got an exclusive interview with special permission. Oh, I understand why she wasn't easily hired by anyone. Amain gave a wry smile and the others breathed a small sigh. Maimu gave commentary like an ordinary reporter, but she did it in a way that made her seem like she learned by combining all the worst trash tabloid reporters' way of reporting into one. Although it is a type that is released, there is probably a part that comes with a little bit when it comes to something like that. I commend her for being able to talk that way, but it's also super annoying. Perhaps it's not her ability, but the direction she takes it in that makes people uncomfortable. I don't have time for this. Let's get to opening this. Kariko was beginning to get a little frustrated. Please wait a moment. We still need to set up. I have no intention of waiting for you. Kariko walked towards the container as if to push Maimu out of the way. Please. If the amount of footage is a problem, why don't you just do a documentary? Miki grabbed Maimu by the neck so she wouldn't disturb Kariko. I can't. A documentary is difficult to edit, and then there's narration, and you need a bigger budget. Is that okay? Suddenly Maiko received communication from somewhere, and her expression gradually changed to a full smile. Good news, everyone, we did it. That was a channel telling us it's okay to show as is. We can just broadcast live without setting up. I'm getting angry. It's annoying, but she reminds me of Mihoshi's family. Please advise that children shouldn't watch the broadcast. Do you think that you can switch immediately if you see anything off? It's okay. If there's an accident, it's okay. We're good with the network. Okay, stay out of the way from now on. More than that, we're going to start opening the package now. Make sure you don't get too close because I can't take responsibility no matter what happens. Well, when you keep talking like that, it only makes me more curious to see what's inside. Well then, if everything's fine, then let's get started. Kariko gave up with a sigh of resignation and walked again toward the center of the foam container. Hey, Lizana. Dr. Clay came to the downstairs of the jungle pavilion and called her name without confirming she was there. Yes, what would you like? While waiting to be called by Clay, she was watching the relay of Kariko's unveiling, which had just begun, but she was absorbed in it and had been distracted for some time. She was a bit upset at being called away from it. I'm sorry, is there anything I can do for you? Normally, she would have gotten a call and he wouldn't have to descend to the bottom, but the staff was distracted by the relay and missed the call. I don't need you for anything. I was just checking to see if you knew about the broadcast, but clearly you got the memo. Oh, I understand. Thank you for worrying about me. I'm glad you care. Clay looked like a puppy dog. I didn't come to tell you for your sake. I simply didn't want to have to catch you up on it later. Clay, however, ruined the moment with his speech. Authentication complete. Masaki Kuriko has been confirmed. We will move to the opening sequence. Bishu. Fine cracks in the foam container appeared as it sounded like it was being crushed. Now the opening of the foam container has begun. The inside is covered with a snow-like material that's melting to gradually reveal the inside contents. Oh, what is that? The foam container disappeared and left behind an object with the same hexagonal crystals as Ryoki and the Kamidake's crystals. It's a huge crystal. This looks like the kind used in the ship they call the Kamidake. Mickey, give us some commentary. What is that thing? Who said I was willing to give commentary? Well, as you can see, it was clearly made by the same person who made the Kamidake. In the center on the front, the mark used by Washu was shining in gold. Mickey knew it because the Kamidake had the same marking. The armored cavalry is definitely inside of that. Maybe everyone. Apparently, there is a pattern that confirms its maker on the outside, and it's rumored that the cavalry is inside of it. Kuriko-san, would you mind letting me see the contents right away? Please don't broadcast from here on out. I don't know what's in there. After we confirm its contents, I will think about it. No, that will ruin the flow of the program. I don't care about such things, Kuriko declared. An ordinary person would be intimidated and retreat, but Maimu seemed to be unfazed and moved closer to Kuriko. Ahaha. Those who can stay so dignified while the camera is running are indeed a precious few. Would it be possible to? Kuriko suddenly grabbed her in a headlock. Look, Ms. Maimu, the person who made this is really a genius, but she's also a creep, and there's a possibility that something that shouldn't be broadcast will happen. Oh, that's good to know. Well, that could be fun, I think. The way Maimu was moving her arms and legs with pain was really funny. But it was certain that Kuriko's grip on her demonstrated her power to break her head clean off. And then, it must be nice being held in a headlock by Kuriko. You've got a nice view of her breasts. That voice. Something popped out of Washu's marking on the crystal and floated in the air before Kuriko. Okay, if you wish to broadcast it, then let me grant you permission. Washa-sama. What are you doing? Washu was floating in chibi form, but she was upside down. When you're only 2 heads tall, your balance is off, cause your head is heavy, Alyup. Chibi Washu flipped herself with her own momentum, but seemed to be having trouble balancing. Why do you look like that? Oh, I was just on a children's program that Ryoki has recently gotten a part in. The other characters sort of look like this. I tried to imitate them, so I wasn't too big. I see. Kuriko-san. Is this by any chance? Maimu got out of Kuriko's grip and approached Chibi Washu. Yeah, I'm the scientist who made this thing. Oh, call me Petit Washu when you see me in this form. Do you approve of me filming this? I don't mind. Washa-sama, are you sure you can do that? Kuriko, if they were able to tell what was up with our technology just by seeing it, they wouldn't have asked us to turn over the Kamidake. That's true, but... No. The manufacturer's given us the okay, so it's not a problem to relay. So, let's hurry and show off the Galactic Federation's first armored cavalry. It seems they call their large bipedal walking robots armored cavalry here, but they're called a sacred mechalord over there. Oh, since this is a godly night, will it bear a god's name? Oh, I'd be so proud if that was the case. Awesome. A new godly night. This is like a shrine that seals the gods. Let's open it right away. Wait a moment. The sacred mechalord is sleeping. As Maimu said, it's like the shrine of God. So we must do the necessary ritual to enable the god's manifestation, a summoning ritual to make it descend from ancient times. Wait, don't those usually involve the sacrifice of a girl? Maimu asked, looking at Kuriko. Ha. Although I don't know if you could call her a girl still, she's more of a wa. Suddenly Kariko rushed to Petit Washu and grabbed her to make her stop her talking. Her grip strength was stronger than the bite of a Tyrannosaurus. Washu. No, I meant because you're married to Sanadano now. You didn't think I meant something else, did you? Well, if what you're saying is that you've dedicated yourself to your god, then we don't have to sacrifice you. You can just do a song and dance like a good little shrine maiden. Oh, I see. Come on, Kariko, please. What? You want me to dance and sing? Kariko was puzzled. On one hand, she wasn't tone deaf, but on the other hand, she hadn't expected to be singing and dancing on live TV. Come and let's have a song and dance. If it's cool with you. Quick, get the cameras on her. Oh, but first, before you do a dance, could you do me a favor? Let me go. Washi was still being crushed by Kariko. Okay, but only if there's no funny business. Fine. Kariko smiled and released Petit Washu. All right, let's get ready then. First of all, the Shrine Maiden will have to transform into her piloting outfit. I understand. Come on, Kariko, take the wand. Ahahaha. Half laughing, Kariko instantly snatched the magical girl stick that Petit Washu took out. Washu, really? No, don't worry. There's also a pendant version for the sensibilities of the adult woman. Then why did you give this to me? Kariko threw away the stick and took the pendant from Washu. Suddenly the pendant glowed. Kariko's clothes began to transform. Right here? Really? The pattern of Jurai came out across her chest, and a costume like a skin-tight swimming suit emerged that showed off her body lines. Rather than having volume to it like Dee's outfit, it was more like paint. Oh wow, so lustrous! Maimu shouted. The camera probes and Petit Washu disappeared into dust. Of course the pendant was also shattered. Geez, what did you do that for, Kariko? Petit Washu asked, poofing back in, but the cameras were still destroyed. Ah, the cameras. They were rentals. Although it was alarming, the TV staff were accustomed to this kind of trouble, and soon, new camera probes came in. Oh, good thing I came here with a group of sponsors. Now we're broadcasting on a mix of different stations, but who cares? Well, luckily they're used to this kind of situation, so we're quick to deal with it. We're back on the air and ready. Come on now, Kariko. Please keep changing into the Shrine Maiden's clothes. Ouch, that hurts, ouch, ouch, that hurts, ouch, ow. Maimu was again in a headlock. Mercy. What was that sound? Did something just break? Help! Is Sister Maimu going to be a comedian? Mato, who was watching the relay with Makihi at home, tilted his head a bit. You need a mix of various fertilizers to grow big trees. She said to keep her cool in front of Mato, but a blood vessel was throbbing slightly in Makihi's head. Well, sorry to have threatened you and all that, but it's not every day things goes your way so unexpectedly. But just to be sure, we'll be able to analyze this thing's rank just from an image scan. In the manager's room, the Next of Crown had given up on intimidating Akashido. He sent the other guys to wait in a limo. Preparation seems to be okay. While looking at the monitor, Akashido asked for an indication that the communication was over. Well, thank you, but I'll never forget what you did. If I can put on a good enough event for you, could you see to it that we're forgiven? I hope that it's good enough to satisfy me. Oh, Kariko, calm down. It was just a prank. There's no need to be mad, right? Petit Washu was desperate to calm Kariko down. Can you give me one reason why not? I figure you already know this, but that sacred Mechalord was originally built for Kenshi. Yes, Rei-san refused. As a result, the problem is that it's made to specification. Earthlings summoned to that world have brought with them a culture of strange things, so well, I added various requirements. What kind of weird things did you do? Well, Ryoki was also worried about Kenshi-chan, so we included a variety of ideas and incorporated a lot of stuff behind the scenes you wouldn't understand. So, we made it to specifications, and then we overloaded it with so many features. I mean, what did you do that's in bad taste? For Kariko, that was the biggest problem. I guess it's surprising, but that's the formal piloting suit. No way. Do I really have to wear such a skin-tight suit? Well, yeah, that's just common sense. Was Kenshi going to have to wear a suit like that? Eh? It was rare for Washu to hesitate. At that moment, Kariko was likely to go off on Petit Washu. I'll ask you again. Were you really going to make Kenshi-chan wear this suit? Well, there's no problem with just wearing ordinary clothes in there. At that moment, Petit Washu poofed. Silence. Well then, let's perform the summoning ceremony for the sacred Mechalord. Petit Washu remanifested and smiled despite exploding just moments earlier. Maimu also had on a smile. Amain and the other girls were watching from afar. Kariko alone was dissatisfied. Well, there were various things to get out of the way up till now, but at last it seems that the Galactic Federation's first armored cavalry, which over there is called a sacred Mechalord, is ready to finally emerge. Let's honor it with a sacred dance first. Now, Maimu, let's do the dance. Follow after me. Music, start. And Petit Washu broke out into a Bon dance while the Tenko Bushi song played. At that moment, Kariko did her best to suppress her murderous intent. Otherwise, she would have exploded at Maimu. Is this the usual song? Miki didn't know anything about it. She only got the impression that it was a strange song. It certainly seemed formal. I don't know, but isn't it fun? It is quite a cheerful and good feeling. But hey, check out Maimu's dance. She sure has some skill. No, not just skill. She's quite amazing, isn't she? She was able to dance completely in unison with Washu despite never seeing the choreography before, and her movements were flowing and natural. The air around her became sacred and suitable for a dance to a god. Kariko, who knew exactly how the dance was supposed to be performed, was also amazed by Maimu's instant mastery of it. Did you say you had no talent? It's best to ask one's parents about such things. Mother, I know you're peeping from somewhere, aren't you? Peeping is rude. I'm just interested in this duel. So, I was watching this broadcast. Makihi sent a message with exquisite timing. Hey, she said she wasn't talented. What gives? While talking, Miki and Amain's eyes were getting carried away by Maimu's dance, and so was Kariko. Her dance was calming the anger of the god of destruction. It's just as you can see. There's no doubt that Maimu has talent that has surpassed her sisters. She has the grace and elegance of a my-level dancer. They only have to see a dance once to remember the choreography perfectly, even if they've never seen it before. Sometimes they can even predict the choreography that is to come and begin leading the choreographer. The spirit of despair turns into the sparkle of talent with her. She might even exceed me and become the best of the dance princesses if she keeps going like this. Yes, but it's a useless skill outside of dancing now, isn't it? A person who excels at something is sacrificing something. Perhaps that is the limit of being a human being and not a god. That girl can see her own flaws, but not her own talents. But she wants to be a reporter, right? I know I'd be mad if I had no other skill besides dancing. Well, that's partially due to that girl's biased probability. That's why I think Sena will produce a wonderful dancer. Maybe I should have tried to hook them up instead. Maya is a talented girl, but if she had done the courtship dance for Sena, she'd be pregnant by now. Makihi clenched her fists in a regrettable way. Never bring that woman close to Sena. We only want children. We don't care about the status of the children. What do you mean the status of children? Did Sena and you all forget about your positions? Oh, right. That is troublesome. Sena was a tremendous asset, and there was no doubt his status would rapidly increase in the future. Even though Sena refused, he could still establish an entirely new branch of the royal family in Jirai. Their children would be welcomed as royalty. Amain represented the Konak, Ryoko the Balta kingdom. The position of Sena would get steadily greater as the number of his wives also increased, and as their children increased, the number of people involved in their affairs would increase. There was no doubt that various problems would also arise. That's too much to talk about now. Oh. Miki, who was distracted by Makihi's story and Maimu's dance, wasn't aware of the change in the crystal container. Oh! Makihi said as she too looked at the crystal container. It looked like a flower bud swelling. A little more. The seal will break soon. The classic songs and dances continued, such as the Tokyo Ando, Hanagasa Ando, and Bei Haikai. Maimu was already in a trance state, immersed in the world of dance. I feel something wicked in the music selection, but I can't afford to complain about it. Of course, Bon Odori was a ceremony to calm the spirit, but there were some Christmas and Halloween songs thrown in there. But Maimu's dance changed the image, and it was suitable for reaffirming them as part of a sacred ceremony. Okay, that's enough. Now it will open. The crystal container had expanded greatly so far, and colorful lights were flying through the crystal. Wow, wow, wowin'. And a sound like a groaning voice came from the inside. Come on, the god's coming. Pin. The kaniki. The sacred glass crystal like ice and the crystal petals spread widely and opened up. And when the petals were completely opened, everyone became silent. It was as if they were hesitating to hear someone who was about to give a speech. Mother, it's an egg, Mato said gladly. Everyone was hesitant to say it, but they were thinking it. Yes, an egg. And Mikihi honestly admired her dance as her mother. Great. What's inside? What's being born? Surely something ridiculous. It looks like a huge egg to me. I wonder if over there's a different meaning and functions to that shape. The next of Crown also expressed his honest impressions. However, not with the same level of mental age as Mato, but as a grown-up on the same level. I didn't even know they had such a thing over there. Well, let's just keep on watching for now. Mickey looked up at it with a glare as she wrinkled her brows. An egg. Of course, she was the first one to break the silence. An egg. Yeah, it's an egg. I can't see it as anything other than that. When Mickey broke the silence, the rest of Amain's group also stated their impression of it. What a twist. What appeared from the crystal petals is a huge egg. At least to me it looks like an egg. Maimu, who snapped out of her trance state, announced as she aimed the camera at Petit Washu. Poo-poo pup, poo. Poo-chan. What is that big egg? Is it something unexpected that's going to fight, or is it a completed armored cavalry? Well, it seems interesting to fight with whatever it is. Are you sure it's not going to have tentacles growing from there? Yeah, that would be strange. You're joking, right? That's right. So, Washa-sama. What is this? What is it? Will you tell us? Please don't joke around anymore. This guy isn't an egg. It is called a cocoon. Over there it's the dormant form the cavalry takes before it starts. It's completed and you can access the main body. You just have to touch it and register as its master. Of course, there's no funny tricks, so why don't you put your hands on it now, Kariko? If it's a strange thing, I'll also return it, just like Rei. Kariko, don't expect such a thing from me. In a way that is my child, she's like Fuku and Ryo-Oki's sister. When I hear that, I'm even more worried about it. Being told that it's like Fuku and Ryo-Oki's sister meant that if she wasn't joking, that thing would be powered like a god. But the time and date of the battle was close, and there would be no battle if there was no armored knight. Kariko went up to the gigantic egg-shaped object called a cocoon to put her hands on it. I guess it can't be helped if it is, now, can it? With a big sigh, Kariko turned to the cocoon. Now the pilot, Kariko Masaki, slowly walks up to this new godly knight. No, sacred mechalord, past the shell of the crystal container that has been unsealed to touch the cocoon-like base, like the throne of God in the middle, and we watch as she climbs the stairs step by step. While everyone was watching, Kariko climbed to the summit and looked up at the cocoon again. It looked milky at close glance like a pearl. She reached out and gently touched it. It's warm? It's surprisingly elastic. It was cold and moist and felt like jelly or agar. Of course, there was enough hardness to support its weight. She could feel a slight pulse coming from it. Master Masaki Kariko. Personal data confirmed. Oh! Are you the cocoon? It felt like when Mizuki talked to her, but had an atmosphere more like Fuku's. What? Maimu raised a startled voice. The milky color faded away from Kariko's touch, and the inside became visible. And there it is. Everyone gasped. Aha. Aha ha ha ha. This is great. They delivered an unfinished item. The next of Crown laughed loudly as soon as the cocoon became transparent. There was a huge skeleton in the transparent cocoon. You see that? It's only a basic skeleton Ekishido. It will be totally ineffective in tomorrow's fight. But Washa-sama was saying, it's a complete model, ready for combat. At best, that is going to be a weak knight class or a good local knight. Definitely not a heavenly knight. Does it really matter? Ekishido remained staring at the cocoon, not concerned about the mockery from the next of crown. What should I say? It looks like a fetus, but... The skeleton inside was a dull, dark orange color, which seemed to be sitting in a transparent egg yolk-like substance in the fetal position. There were no eyes in the recessed sockets in the skull, but it still felt like it was watching them with an intimidating presence. If this is the one called a sacred mechalord, it's exactly like a death god, don't you think? Wait a minute, Washa-sama. Washa-sama. What is that? You didn't give it to us incomplete, did you? Finally, Kuriko snapped back to reality and questioned Petite Washu. That's for you to find out. Pooh. I can't tell you that. It may seem like an unfinished item, or maybe that skeleton is about to move. Maimu focused the camera on Petite Washu. Hey, don't look at me with such a scary face. Fine, that's just the base body. Once the pilot gets inside and starts it, the gel forms to fit the skeleton, and it changes depending on your needs. So... it's an adapting thing? Are there different types of armor and weapons? Yes, the armor and weapons are built with IPS gel, so it can fight as is. Just like the Kamedake, it has some subspace units, new weapons and armor can be made there. I supplied materials, and there is a residential unit properly fixed inside, so you can live in it. So, it's like the Kamedake made into a humanoid. Kuriko's bad feelings seemed to be right. She was really going to give Tenchi's younger brother, Kenshi, a weapon of mass destruction. Oh haha. It's one of my best masterpieces, made with a concept different from Ryuoki and the Kamedake. Regardless of any battle location, combat condition, or combat form, it can adapt by changing its shape. Well, what? It consists of changing weapons and armor. Such an armored cavalry has never been seen or heard of before. Over there we call this holy knight a sacred mechanoid, which is a general-purpose vehicle that anyone can ride. That is, it will change to a shape that is suitable for each pilot's personal preference. So, it's customizable? Yes, but by making it exclusively for an individual, it has enhanced diversity in battle. Are you dissatisfied with that? Maimu looked up at the cocoon with a slightly difficult-to-describe look on her face. Yes, I think that it's really wonderful as far as function and technology go, but it's common sense that you can't beat a Renzen model just by being average. Average? Well, whether it's common or not will be decided when tomorrow comes. Oh, how confident. Let's hope it doesn't spring a leak. But there's one more problem. This sacred mechalord, the armored cavalry that it will be fighting are somewhat larger than the standard ones mainly used in the battle. This is kinda small. Oh, but this is around the same size as ZNV. Kuriko wasn't bothered. In the first place, fights between ships were common, and size differences were common. The Kamedake and the Big Daruma was like a fight between a bacterium and a person. So why is ZINV the standard you used? Oh wow! Everyone watching the situation became stupefied. Poo-poo poo-poo, poochon poochon. Now it's inflating and it's growing bigger. Like a man in front of his bride after the wedding, Petite Washu was blown up by Kuriko's punches and quickly regenerated. Kuriko, this is just an animoroid made out of a force field body, but it has an astral link. The pain is mild, but it feeds back. Please stop that. Then quit messing around. Oh my. What is that? Poochon. It's growing so fast. The skeleton inside gradually enlarged. Furthermore, the protrusions out of the corners and the nails also increased. It now gave off an even more frightening atmosphere. But its skeleton was obviously feminine and graceful. Does it have self-healing capability? Did you notice that already, Kuriko? That's right. The sacred mechalord also has self-healing capabilities, but that's a natural function, though. The power unit it uses is the same as the Kamedake uses, but a limiter is attached because its purpose is close-range battle. Well, I don't think we ever really used the Kamedake in its entirety either. Kuriko thought when she heard that. Even if a limiter was attached, it didn't mean that it couldn't be cancelled. There was no way Washi would build a restraint that couldn't be unleashed. So, she was going to send this to an early civilization world, right? Well, if you used this on the ground, the surface of the whole planet would disappear. No wonder Ray told her no. Even in a space battle it would be overkill, but it would be totally insane to use it at full power for a ground battle. Yeah, Kenshi was cute, but too much was too much. But philosophers like Washu didn't consider such things. Well, I guess I can just use it in battle tomorrow then return it. Oh, by the way, Kiriko. It's already impossible to return because you've registered as its master, so please take care of my child to the very end. As if she read Kiriko's mind, Petit Washu had already cut off her escape plans. This is Fuku's younger sister after all. Mia, in the residential area of the Kamedake. Fuku was in the house Sana stayed in, occasionally trying to pick up his smell. Sana was missing, and she was worried he'd be gone a long time. She was used to having Aka around, but today the other Kabit girls were with Fuku-chan. However, Miki was absent because she accompanied Maimu to the unveiling. Everyone was watching the broadcast. Fuku was hugged by Aka as they watched Kiriko. The sacred Mechalord became visible and Fuku jumped out of Aka's arms and went right in front of the monitor. Fuku, what's wrong? Aka was surprised. Mia. Yeah, it seems you're a big sister. Mia. That big bony thing? It's a bit scary. That's not scary. She's the same as us. Dee, who was sitting next to Aka, said to calm her down. Yay! The number of new sisters I have has increased. Mia. I already have Mizuki. Sana is also the master of the Kamedake and Zanvi. It's alright. Tsunami has already approved it through Mizuki-chan. Mitsuki-chan, is that true? They said I should get along well with Yomi-chan. Yomi-chan. Yes, Yamatsu Wolf is its name. At the moment she heard Mizuki say this, Petit Washu blew up. What on earth? Why did you name it that? Because when she said it, it made Sito laugh. She thought it fit perfectly. Gah. If Sito had already backed the name, it meant there was no changing it. Jurai no doubt had already registered it as that. You too, I heard something like a name. Is it possible you're talking about the name of this armored cavalry? And, as ever, Maimu, who couldn't read the room, jumped into the minefield. That's right, it's not some anonymous vehicle. So here we are about to announce the name. Kiriko, please tell us the true name of this armored cavalry, and by all means do it wearing that erotic suit from earlier. Let's go. With a big smile, Maimu stepped on a landmine with delight. Ah! Everyone cried out, as the broadcast was quickly switched to an error cutaway with an apology ticker. Did you see that? The next of Crown said as he came out of Ekishido's room as soon as the broadcast was over. He got into the lounge with his companions and began talking with his colleagues with a joyful expression. Oh, you seem a little jealous. The ability of that thing as an armored knight is still only theoretical, but as for the technology, there are quite a few things you're going to have to watch out for. Yes, those features would be wonderful to get our hands on. Anyone who does is sure to get promoted to first rank. Huh. So does that mean you're fine with leaving things as they are for now? Anything that can be done at this time has been done. The priority now for the Recepshi is to help us get ready to broadcast the fight. There was an organization different from an embassy which helped support activities that catered to the Renzin royal family and other nobility in Recepshi. Of course, even individuals were accommodated, but the support organization was specifically for doing special illegal activities behind the scenes, and because it wasn't an official organization as such, there was a priority to use it only for certain things. The criteria for use were so severe, there were few people who could even use it easily. Ahaha, it's nice to be able to trust them with our troublesome dirty work. Executing certain activities here is pretty tough, so it saves us from wasting our time. Just in case, let's give ourselves an advantage. Let's give the mech prototype equipment developed by each armored knight maker to bump up our specs. Wouldn't it also be possible to borrow replicas of the sacred equipment? This is a battle for our honor and reputation. We should even be able to get permission to use Recepshi's long-distance transfer gate if we win. The holy equipment was a collective term for a series of weapons. There were 100 of them. They were used by the original 5 godly machines. The originals were displayed in a museum. They were weapons given to the king and those who were recognized as brave heroes with remarkable achievements, to be wielded on the upper left on the cavalry. And the holy equipment wasn't copied as it was, they were constantly being updated with the best technology they had presently. That would be nice, as long as you get Shirahana and her team to back us up, we should have more than enough strength, unless you're ready to become a subordinate of Jitsuki. Don't torment me with such an idea. I'll never be subordinate to that gang of fools. I'll see what I can do to hurry things up. What's up? What's going on? Guess. I've managed to get about halfway. Hey, what the hell's going on? Hey. However, there was no response no matter how long he waited after that. The next of Crown was quickly transferred from the lounge car without his attendant. He went through the gate several times and returned to his base. What the hell is going on? The next of Crown saw what was happening in front of him, and he was taken aback and stood silent. What the heck is going on? The same incident as what the next of Crown saw was also happening at the docks of the Maiden Knights. It sounds fun. This should be good, Dr. Clay said with a smile. Clay, what are you up to now? In the operator's room at the secret base, there was a masked man whom Clay had caught in a trap that made him do the Bond dance to the Tenko Bushi song. Oh, what a nostalgic sight. I haven't seen such a sight in quite a long time, You bastard, don't laugh. Do something. His anger was amazing, but there was no force at all coming from his figure as he danced to the relaxed song. You're right, I shouldn't laugh. Thanks for reminding me. Once that thing starts, the cancellation process is a pain. Like I said earlier, you'll have to wait for the effect to expire. It should be about 2 hours before you're let go. What are you saying? Do something right now. Well, if you want out immediately, I can just destroy your body. That should do it. Quit playing. You have no one to blame for this but yourself. Now, if you really want me to make your wishes come true, I could set you back another hour entirely by discarding all the new equipment I added. Now that I can do with no problem. Do you know how much that lost hour of work is worth? Oh no, you see, since that loss will have happened in your department, it's your responsibility because, well, it's your responsibility. The advice fee I've charged you so far is cheap, so thank you for the nostalgia. I'll get to it. You bastard. For Clay, the anger of the man in the mask felt like a gentle breeze. Well, it's time to relax my stiff muscles with some exercise. With that, he left the room. It may be time to reconsider my relationship with these people soon. Although the boss seems to be somewhat competent, it's dangerous to have such stupidity in your ranks. Washa should have clocked the reality of the organization's situation already, and things are only going to get worse with a virus like that among its ranks. But is it really more troublesome than that? I can't say. Clay had hesitated before going through the transfer gate to the VIP jungle world that he went to earlier. The problem that bothered him most was how he was going to sleep that night. It is most troublesome to think of places to sleep other than here. I'm happy to admit that such a place is special. Being surrounded by non-productive tadpoles that can only kill time with cheap fun is more troubling than anything. The most annoying thing is that Lizana sometimes tries to find a reason to get into bed with me. Dr. Clay still heard the Tenko Bushi song in his head. It made him grin. In this case, those stupid staff members are going to be busy for a while. I'll take a nap while I know they're busy. A cozy place for Clay wasn't a luxury accommodation. It was the corner of a workroom or under a desk. There he could sleep well without being disturbed by anyone. As expected, Lizana won't be able to find me here. Clay smiled after finding a place to sleep for the first time in a while, but after a couple of hours, he woke up to find Lizana sleeping beside him. He seriously considered breaking ties with the masked men then and there.